Metroids, welcome to another very special update. You might notice I've got my special update shirt on. So last time I wore this, there was some very big news that came out about CoinsPaid, one of our partners. So today I think the cat's already out of the bag. But joining me today is one of our team members who specialises in what we're about to talk about. So I'd like to welcome Eyegug to the stage. Welcome, mate.
Hey, Trent, thanks for having me on.
Great to have you here. Now, I know a lot of our Metroids have a lot of questions about what's just been released with our wrapped products and our bridge products and our MRXE and our MRXB, and what does all this mean? So I thought today, what a great opportunity to bring our resident expert on board, and I'll act on behalf of the community to ask some questions that I think the community is going to want to know. And we'll work our way through a few questions, and hopefully we'll get a much better understanding by the end of our chat today.
That sounds good with me. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Well, let's start by having a chat about the actual wrapped products. Firstly, if you can explain the difference between a wrapped product and what bridging is, and how do I wrap? How do I bridge? That's probably the best place to start.
Well, wrapped products and bridges kind of go together, because a bridge functions as a way for a coin to get from one blockchain to another. And using Metrix as an example, Metrix has its native blockchain, the Metrix chain. And if you want to transfer Metrix over to Binance Smart Chain, for example, you would use the bridge to send that Metrix to the bridge on the other side. And that Metrix it's considered wrapped Metrix, and it's wrapped on the Binance Smart Chain, so that it can work on that chain, but at the same time, it has a one-to-one relationship with the Metrix that was originally put into that bridge. So for every wrapped coin, there is one equivalent native blockchain coin that is in a smart contract in that bridge, so that every coin is accounted for. And they were not creating coins out of thin air or anything like that.
Okay, that makes sense. I think that pretty much clarifies that, because we have had a lot of people saying, what's the difference? And I think that makes it pretty clear. So let's talk about, the team's obviously already announced that we've got MRXE and MRXB on PancakeSwap and Uniswap. So maybe just let our viewers know what this actually means, and how important it is for Metrix Coin as a project to be going down this path.
Absolutely. Well, MRXE is the Ethereum version of Metrix. It's that wrapped token. And MRXB is the same thing, but on Binance Smart Chain. And essentially, by having that wrapped token, it allows us to put Metrix on Uniswap, on PancakeSwap, in liquidity pools, which allow for people to buy, sell, and trade Metrix on those blockchains. And it functions, just like any other ERC20, BEP20 token, like many of the ones that we're all used to using every single day.
Right. Okay. So that probably leads me into the next part. The flip side of all this is the liquidity pools, and a lot of people have heard about how we need liquidity and we need liquidity pools, but they don't actually know what that means and how they give liquidity, how they fund liquidity. So maybe if you could just give the community a bit of an understanding of how that actually works, and how they can actually help our project by providing liquidity.
Well, let's start by talking about what makes a decentralized exchange different than a centralized exchange. Because centralized exchanges have traditional order books where you can put a buy order or a sell order in, and people are able to essentially buy into that or sell into that. A liquidity pool has, on a decentralized exchange, creates a sort of an automated market maker function, where it allows people to buy into or to sell or sell into the liquidity pool. And you don't have to place an order on an order book. You just, if you want to buy tokens, you're going to buy them from the liquidity pool. If you want to sell, you're going to sell them into the liquidity pool, and the price is whatever the current price is at. The liquidity pool requires people to provide their own it requires people to provide liquidity. And when we say liquidity, what it really means is two tokens paired together. So for example, we could pair Metrix with a stable coin like Tether. And when you put those two together, if Metrix were, to keep the math simple, $1, then you would have one Metrix for every one Tether in that pool. And you could have $1 million of liquidity, which would have 500,000 Metrix and 500,000 USDT. And that would be a balanced pool at a $1 price point. But now you want to go and buy some Metrix. So you're going to put some USDT into that pool, and you're going to get some Metrix out. And what will happen is the price of Metrix will end up going up because there will be less Metrix in the pool and more USDT, so that ratio is going to change. And it's going to change in a way that the price goes up. There's an algorithm, and honestly, it's a little bit complicated to explain to everyone right now, but there are lots of articles out there that do kind of get into that.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll kind of leave that there and let you ask the next one.
Okay. Well, it's probably a good point, because leading on from there, I guess, how important is liquidity for our project?
Well, liquidity is the way that people are able to buy or sell Metrix. So having liquidity is very important. Now, when we talk about how much liquidity, it really depends on the state of the project. If there's going to be a large number of transactions going on, with some of our partners that we have coming up, I think it's going to be really important that there is more liquidity for them to buy or sell into, or else we're going to have massive price swings, because the less liquidity there is, the more impact any one individual buy or sell will have on that liquidity pool and the price. And do keep in mind that in a centralized exchange, you can choose to put in an order for as much as you want. On a decentralized exchange in a liquidity pool, you're limited by the amount of liquidity in that pool when you want to buy or sell. So it does create a sort of kind of an inverse relationship, where when liquidity is smaller in the pool, you tend to have a larger price movement because it's easier to move things up or down with a buy or a sell. Versus a deep liquidity pool that has a lot of liquidity tends to be a lot more stable and have a lot less fluctuations, which for a serious coin like Metrix is very helpful for getting those serious partnerships with people who want to be able to buy, trade, sell, and use Metrix.
Yeah, I agree. So that being said, now that we've released these wrapped products, what does that mean for the future of Metrix Coin?
Well, it means that Metrix Coin is, entering the 21st century of crypto, so to speak. We are becoming available to a whole new group of people that are all using these DeFi products, decentralized finance. And Metrix blockchain is its own form of decentralized finance, but before we were almost on an island, not able to communicate with all these other blockchains. And now we have a way to get the coins over, turn them into tokens, so to speak, and use them for whatever you need to do, whether it's, if you want to trade in a liquidity pool on a decentralized exchange, or if you want to use Metrix to buy an NFT on OpenSea from Ethereum. You can sell that Metrix, trade it for Ethereum, and get an NFT. And I mean, there's so many opportunities that are opened because Ethereum is the most used blockchain out there. I mean, we've seen the gas prices and the network congestion, and that's one thing actually people do have to keep in mind, because when you're using MRXE, you're paying Ethereum gas. So I'm kind of getting into another question here, but when you're using MRXB, you're using the gas on Binance Smart Chain. And then when you're using just MRX, then you're using whatever the transaction fee would be on the Metrix chain. So everyone does need to keep that in mind, that as soon as they bridge it over to a different chain, it's functioning with that chain's regular transaction fees.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, what about some advantages to wrapping MRX rather than leaving it on our native blockchain? You sort of touched on a few there already.
Well, I mean, essentially, when you look at everything in crypto, it seems like interoperability, cross-blockchain transactions, bridging from here to there is becoming the norm. And I think that as Metrix is for everyone and for everything, there's no reason Metrix should get left behind and not be included in that kind of revolution of everything just working together. It brings back memories of the early days of the internet and how that just transformed everything, making information so readily available to everyone. And with Metrix on these blockchains, you can use it as a token, as they're often called, which can use MRXE or MRXB. Can create any sort of platform that we need on those other blockchains, and not just on the Metrix chain, because not everyone out there is familiar with the Metrix chain or is using the Metrix chain, but I can guarantee a lot of people are using Ethereum main chain and Binance Smart Chain, and probably a lot more than are currently using Metrix. And we want to get people out there to be aware of Metrix. I think having this exposure, making it available to them, is a great step in that direction as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more eyes we can get on our project, obviously the faster it's going to fly. And personally, you and I have had conversations about this in the past, where it's just such a big thing that we've done, and I don't know if a lot of the Metroids actually fully understand how big this could be for us. So we're definitely going down the right path, in my opinion.
I can tell you from personal experience, I've talked with many people about Metrix, and they've asked me, where can you buy it? And I told them the various exchanges it's on, and they said, oh, it's not on Uniswap. It's all right. I don't really care. I don't want it right now. And because there's a barrier to entry for some people that don't want to set up an account with these exchanges, don't want to KYC themselves. There's a lot of benefits to being on some of these decentralized exchanges, and there's a whole separate group of people that only really trade on those and tend to avoid the more centralized options. Yeah,
so it's going to be very interesting once we start over the next month. We're going to have a lot of influencers talking about what we're doing as a project. So it'll be interesting once we get a lot more people into the community, and we get a lot more interaction starting to happen. So it's going to be a big month ahead. That's why I thought I'd put the loud shirt on. But let me ask you one more question. I'm just thinking there's got to be some investment strategies being used by investors out there in the crypto space with these wrap coins. Can you give us a little insight into that?
Oh, absolutely. Probably the biggest things are any sort of, well, obviously liquidity pool. Liquidity pools have fees that go towards the people who are providing liquidity on those pools based upon the amount of volume that is traded in that liquidity pool. So by providing liquidity, someone is able to get a portion of those fees. And in addition to that, there are options out there for farming, which is when you take your liquidity tokens, the ones you get for providing liquidity, and put them into a farm, which generates a yield, which essentially pays a return on your investment in the liquidity pool, and gives you either, well, I guess let me back up a little there. Like using Pancake Swap as an example, they have farms on there which pay in cake, which is their native token for their decentralized exchange. So by participating in a Pancake Swap farm, you're able to provide liquidity which benefits them, and also they're going to give you some cake in exchange. And the thing is, right now, there's no Metrix farm that I'm aware of, but that's not to say that as Metrix grows, PancakeSwap wouldn't add something like a Metrix farm. And I'm sure that if there is a farm that's available, you'll announce it and let everybody know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One other thing to keep in mind with any sort of liquidity providing is this concept of impermanent loss. And a lot of people admittedly don't understand impermanent loss because impermanent loss is something that happens when one coin in a pairing goes up or down more than the other side. So again, going back to the Metrix versus USDT, Metrix goes up, USDT stays the same. So you end up having a total value of the coins that you put into the liquidity pool is a little bit less than what the value would have been if you held 100% Metrix. And, or I guess the initial ratio that you had of 50% Metrix, 50% USDT. And the thing is, it's called impermanent because it's only permanent loss when you end up withdrawing the liquidity from that pool.
So it's basically
the rewards from providing liquidity.
Sorry, the internet just cut
I'll
out
let
on
you
me.
go ahead, Trent.
Yeah, sorry, the internet cut out. Can you just repeat that last little bit, just in case it didn't record?
Sure. So, starting from the beginning?
No, just the last little bit.
Okay. So essentially, by providing liquidity, you are opening yourself up to that risk of either impermanent loss, which can become permanent if you decide to withdraw your liquidity. And that being said, there is something that offsets any potential loss that you would have, and that is the return or the fees that are collected on the volume that's traded and distributed to the people who are providing liquidity. And generally, unless the coin that is part of the pool is going up dramatically in price, the fees offset any sort of impermanent loss that you would experience. So the risk is generally pretty low. And admittedly, with a pairing like, if you were pairing Ethereum with, Cardano or something, two large coins, there's essentially no impermanent loss because everything seems to move together and everything seems to generate enough volume to offset it. With something like Metrix, to be honest, there is a little bit more risk if Metrix were to go up dramatically. But at the same time, Metrix doesn't have that potential to go up without that liquidity there. So everyone needs to make their own decision. What do they want to do? Do they want to do something that would be good for the project, take on some risk? Do they want to hold on to their coins, minimize their risk? It's something that I'm sure will be a big discussion among the community, and there will be articles out there that I'm sure we will share to help people kind of navigate that difficult decision. But it's really, I don't think you can go wrong either way,
Yeah, no, good answer. I'll certainly be putting in liquidity myself, and because I'm a Metroid just like everyone else, as will you. So Metroids, I do ask if you are interested, if you need to find out more. We've released some Medium articles. We're actually putting a full manual together. It's in design at the moment, so that'll come out late this week, early next week, just depending when this goes to air. I think this will actually go out same day. And if there are any more questions, jump on our Discord, jump on our Telegram, ask the questions, and the team's only happy to help. But the more liquidity as a group we can provide, I think the better it's going to be for us. Now, with that being said, I actually don't have any more questions, but what I might do is just see if there's anything else that you think we should cover. I think we've covered a fair bit already, but I don't want to make this video 2 hours long. So if there's anything else that you think we should talk about.
I will say that there is so much to cover in this area, and I think as the community has more questions about everything, that please, everyone's welcome to ask, and be happy to do another one of these videos to answer some more questions and get everyone up to speed, as we need to. But this is very exciting for Metrix. We're moving ahead into the future and creating a lot of great options for everyone out there to get exposed to and start using Metrix. And I will say, I hope everyone does keep an open mind and takes that opportunity to learn something new, because for a lot of people, I know this is going to be very new and very different, and there is a learning curve to get into decentralized trading and learn some of this, and we'll be there to help you. So please, come on this journey with us, Metroids.
Come. The other thing I wanted to mention, I was going to do another video, but I may as well just do it now. One of our partners has a wonderful wallet called Infinity. And if anyone wants to jump on the Infinity wallet, you might actually see a whitelisted MRXE and MRXB there already. So we'll do more information on that one coming out very soon, but it's actually already whitelisted. They've been really happy to partner up with Metrix. So it's definitely, we're moving in the right direction, Metroids, that's for sure. So, Eyegug, thanks very much for your time today. I think we've really helped out the community with a lot of answers that they were been looking for. And I think that was a really good point. If there are questions, if you want to send them through and you can't get the answers, we'll do another video. It doesn't take too much time for us to do these videos. The more education that's out there, the better. I think the manual that we're about to deliver, that's going to help everyone immensely to get a better understanding. But also jump on YouTube. There's so much information out there about the wrapped products and what you can do with them. But hopefully everyone starts getting a little bit more involved and see where this can actually take us. So Eyegug, once again, mate, thanks for all your answers today. You've been extremely helpful, and it's great to have you on the team.
You're welcome, Trent, and happy to be of help.
Good, buddy. Guys, cheers for now.